Howdy folks, my name's Casey. I'm here to take you on a little adventure. So if you're following my channel in real time, you know that I'm supposed to be in the Dry Tortugas this week, but the storm that's coming through has really messed everything up. So take a look at this screenshot. So based on that information, we decided to hold off on the Dry Tortuga trip for just a little bit. And instead, I am up in Georgia seeking shelter from the storm, and we are going to go to Cumberland Island and do a couple nights out there. So we got the kayak on top of the car. All of the camping gear is loaded in there, and then I have my hiking bag that I used on the Florida Trail to carry on top of the kayak empty, because when we get to the island, we got to transfer everything into that and then hike into the island at least a mile to the campsite. But even for it being almost high tide, it's still ripping through pretty good. So this is Crooked River State Park. This is the water path that we're going to take, and then head north to Plum Orchard. So it doesn't look very far, but this is 6 miles. And this little section right here is that big section right there. And some general information here. Down here it says that they have a bait shop. Sure hope we can find that. Let's get a good picture of that. Oh, there it is. So we need the bait shop, not for bait, but they're going to give us the parking permit and tell me where to park. There's a sign that says you can't park here. I've learned my lesson. Just park wherever you're allowed to park, and that's it. Nowhere else. Okay, so I just went and got my parking pass, and I told the guy I was going camping on the island for a couple days, and I told him I was launching a kayak, and he made this face like, so after we did everything, I said, you know, at the beginning I had told you I was going to take a kayak over there, and you made a face. I said, what was that for? He said, I wouldn't kayak over there if my life depended on it. He said, there's too many people that have tried to go over there. He said, it's a 6 to 7 knot current. The flow rate is 6 to 7 knots. I was like, oh, okay. So this should be pretty fun. Definitely going with the tides out and riding the tides back in. Already planned that out. I told him that, and he said, well, good. I don't have to worry about you. But yeah, I guess some people head out there and then get stuck and can't make it back. So this will be fun. All right, so the kayak is loaded and tied off to the dock. We're waiting for the tide to change. Right now, I see some birds floating out there, and they're still drifting pretty fast. So we're gonna wait probably about an hour before we go. All right, so the tide hasn't changed just yet, but I'm going to go ahead and push off and cruise on down, see how much of a struggle this is. I think if I hug the shore, I should be okay, so that's the plan. So as we come out from the dock, I can feel the water pressure, but it's not horrible. Let's see what it is out there. All right, so turn into it. Let's see what we got. Well, we got a headwind, but we're capable. Okay. We're just gonna stay along the shoreline and cruise on out of here. Hey, this is not too bad. All right, so there is clearly a current. You can feel it, but it's not overpowering. You know, we're still making headway. I think we'll be just fine. I think the real problem that we would have is that if you're caught in the tide when it's moving fast, that could be an issue for real. So on Wednesday, we're going to make sure that we leave at a good time, and we have outgoing tide here in about a half an hour, so the trip out won't be bad. So the GPS is saying 3 miles an hour at a steady pace. I think we can maintain this for a couple hours. We only got 6 miles to go, so yeah, we can do it. We're good. The reason why I'm not waiting for the full tide swing to happen and ride the outgoing tide out of here is I still have a hike to do to get to the campground or the campsite. It's a mile or just over a mile, and I don't know anything about where we're going, so I haven't been here since I was a little infant. I definitely don't remember what it was like. Get over there, get everything loaded into the pack, and then start hiking. These cliffs are pretty neat. I'm gonna go a little bit closer, but They're pretty steep. Wow, that's pretty cool. And it looks like the land that's on the horizon from the middle of the screen to the right, I believe that's the island. We just got to figure out how to wiggle our way over there through all the tall grass and stuff. So looking out at the seagulls that are just floating out here, they have a RFBT, a rate of floating bird travel. I can tell that the tide is still coming in. We haven't lost it yet, but we're still cruising along 3 miles an hour, slow and steady. We'll get there. Yeah, so I think what I want to do is shoot across this opening and then bank back to the right. I think that's what the map's showing, like the tall water. The rest of this is going to be a marsh, it says, a tidal marsh. Want to avoid that. But it shows our distance, 4.64 miles. Our speed is at 4. And if we're going in a straight line, which you're not going to be able to, then we'd get there at 4 o'clock. So, this is some pretty big water for such a little line on the map, you know? Looking out, it's massive. I actually have waves too, not right here. It calmed down, so I was able to get the camera out. But the wind waves coming across the top, just a little bit choppy. So I got to keep my hands on the paddle. But as I'm out here paddling along, you know, looking off in the distance, like it's so far. Then I stop looking out there and thinking about the distance and just start looking at the shore and the birds and making sure my cadence is right. And I really just start to enjoy it, like just falling into it. I can't wait for the Everglades Challenge where it's days and days and days of just paddling. It's gonna be, I'm assuming, miserable. Just never knowing how much further you have to go. Well, you know, but gosh, I guess you got to aim for like 50 miles a day. You got to do at least 12 hours. Yeah, that's gonna be rough. So these little day trips that I do, overnight trips that I do, where it's 6, 12, you know, 20, 30 miles for the whole trip, can't complain too much. I don't know if you can hear that wind. It is really picking up. I think it was only supposed to get to like 9 miles an hour today, but maybe it's gusting more than that. Something. It's blowing for sure. Getting into the marshland up here. It's a nice wind block. But if you can see that island, it's starting to not be just in the haze. You can make out the trees a little better. That's about it. But we're getting closer. But the Plum Orchard where we're headed, I have that saved on the GPS and I really don't know what's there. So my plan is to get over there and hope that I can get out. I don't know if it's going to have a cliff face like we just left from or what's there, but it does show the trail that leads to the campsite starts there. So looking off in the distance, I see a little piece of white, a little white square. That could be part of one of the Carnegie mansions over on Plum Orchard. That's about the where I'm headed, so I bet that is. Find out when we get over there. So you can see something just turned up right here. There's a lot of turtles and fish in here. It's just so calm. But the white that I saw about a mile back, I'm still not sure if it's one of the mansions or not. It's just right up here on our right. Probably about a half mile to go. I didn't film very much of the choppy water back there, but it was kind of a sloppy situation to be in. So I had to focus and paddle. But back in here, it's so calm. And you can see the water line on the reeds, it's already dropped about 6 inches. So this tide swing is so fast, it's crazy. But you can see the water coming out here. So when I leave, I'm gonna leave at low tide on Wednesday, so the water will be coming into here, but I'll do it right at the slack. Yeah, that's definitely Plum Orchard. I'm not sure where I can land, but I will want to tuck the kayak away somewhere. It's a little bit out of sight. Pretty neat little area. So going underneath the walkway is a little landing. So I'm going to bring the kayak up right there. All right. Oh, there's tons of crabs. That's cool. When you land here, this mud is so thick and sticky. It reminds me of Chocolosky. All right, so I got everything out of the kayak and into the pack, and I can tell that it's been a long time since I've been hiking because my kayak gear really filled this thing up, but it all fits. We're good to go, and we're ready to find the trail. Alright, so this weathered map says that the Yankee Paradise is 1.1 miles down Duck House Trail. So we gotta find Duck House Trail. We'll come back tomorrow and explore all this. I don't really have the available daylight right now, I don't think. So I'm just gonna keep walking. I don't know if you can see these things, but they're stickers. And they're everywhere. I had to put my little water shoes on, and they're covered in them. But I couldn't make it through barefoot. So sometimes my soles aren't strong enough. Up ahead are some of the wild horses. I'll detour a little bit, go check those out. Wow, check out this mansion. That's awesome. I'll try and get a tour tomorrow of this place. Very cool. That's pretty cool. Wild horses on an island. That one's had enough for the day, so it's time to lay down. Get out of the heat for a minute. All right, this sign took me a long time to find. So I had to come down the road, and the mansion is back up this way. So the dock is off to the left, so I came up to the mansion and then got on this road and headed this way and then got here. But glad I found it. Now I just follow this to the campground. About a mile. The trail is pretty nice. It's big enough for a vehicle to drive down. So they must come down and check the campsites. This is where the hogs have been. I'm through here chewing this up. It's all dry though, it's been a while. There's a trail cam up here. Wave. The trail is working its way down to look more like a hiking trail than a path for vehicles, which I like. So quiet out here, no wind at all. This is more just torn up ground from the hogs coming through here. We're not too far from the camp now. There's a picnic table. I think I might set up on it. Like put the cot on it and put the tent on it. I think that'd be nice. That way I'm away from the hogs if they come through. This is funny. I was walking and I was like, oh, that feels different. I realized I was walking uphill. So, oh, and Yankee Paradise campsite. Sweet. No campfires. That's okay. It's not going to be cold. We don't need one. All right. Looks like this will do. So that took pretty much 20 minutes to get here, which is what I figured my pace would be with the pack. So 3 miles an hour roughly. So I think what I'm going to do is go back to the kayak, because I was kind of hoping there'd be a picnic table here, and there's not. I do have my little chair that I brought, and some more water. So I was just checking out these other sites. This one, somebody made a little bench right here, so I am not going to go back for a chair. I am going to make my campsite right here. It's perfect. This is where I'm being indecisive. Like, this campsite with the little bench seat was pretty nice, but there's just so many options out here. Like, it's crazy. So, but the spot over here is more open, and I think the openness will be nice instead of being like, I don't know, just feeling claustrophobic. But if you look at this, with the oak tree, like that's real pretty and it looks soft with the pine needles. But I think where I stopped initially, it's got the tree stump and then that fallen log. I think I'm going to make this my home. I like how often I've set this up. It makes it so fast. That was literally like maybe 10 minutes. I got the cot up, the tent, and then the tarp. And I only put the tarp on because I'm going to be here for 2 nights and I'm not sure if it's going to rain or not. So I just want to go ahead and just have it up. There's good ventilation there. And then check for deadfalls above us. This tree looks dead, looks pretty scraggly because of all the Spanish moss, but all the limbs have big long green needles on them. So it doesn't look good, but everything looks alive. So we're good there. All right, so I've been snacking. This mix is pretty good. This beef jerky, I don't know if you've ever had this brand. It reminds me of my dad's jerky that he made, the venison jerky, like made in the oven, like real basic. It just tastes so good. And then the dried peaches, and then there's dried apples in there too. But I am going to make some ramen, and I'm going to cook up that Spam. I'm just going to heat it up a little bit and then break it up into the ramen. That should be good. Then I'm just going to go ahead and... So that's boiling. That's good. Into the ramen. It's pretty good. All right, so I am fed and camp is set up, and we still have about an hour till sunset. I think the beach is about 20 minutes that way, so we can get there, check it out, and then get back before dark. Maybe. It's something to do. We're gonna give it a shot. All right, I'm not bringing anything but a headlamp, so let's not get lost. I want to travel light. So, and I'm barefoot, so if this goes bad, it could go real bad. But I don't think it will. The trail's pretty apparent. So the only thing I could think is that being barefoot, I might stub my toe in the dark, but that's okay. The trail is well marked down here. So one thing I will do is take some of these branches that are loose laying on the ground, and then right in the middle of the trail, I'm going to make an arrow pointing into the campsite. That way, when I come back, less likely to miss it. All right, so that's right in the middle of the trail, telling me to go there. There's hogs over there. Just grunted at me. Ugh, I don't like them. Check out these big oak trees. Awesome. Spanish moss hanging. Very cool. Did you see it? There was a hog in the trail. Oh, the big ugly one. Hogs. Crawdad. This is all swamp. Mosquitoes and flies, all kinds of craziness through here. And the ground's like super muddy. Look at my feet. Ugh. This has been a pretty long mile just because all the animals and the ground is like really muddy and gross. It's been over 20 minutes, so it's a long mile. But we're almost there. Look at this swamp here. It's crazy. I feel like I'm in Florida. Like way South Florida. It's all has such an eerie feel to it. It's so crazy. The hike back's gonna be even worse. I just came up this rise. I don't know if you can really tell. I came up this rise and it's about to dip back down. I can hear the waves. Sounds like a highway down there. Oh wow, it's so steep. Wow, this is really something else. We're in a pine forest just before the beach. That's so cool. In here is where I would like to have camped. The breeze coming across feels so good. And the sound is incredible. All right, I'll let you guys see it with me. Looks like we have one sand dune that we got to climb. And then we're looking at the ocean. The actual Atlantic Ocean. I haven't been here in a long time. Oh. Check it out. That's something else. Wow. The Atlantic Ocean. We found it. Look, these are horse prints. That's cool. Alright, we got to get in this water real quick. Just our feet. I admittedly sometimes make bad choices. This is going to be a nighttime hike barefoot through hog-infested swamp with no weapons or any gear or nothing. Oh man, this is funny. At least I got a little headlamp. When it gets real dark, I'll be able to shine it right in front of me. All right, well, still got a few minutes left before dark, and I made it onto the wider portion of the trail. So you can tell it's pretty obvious where the trail is. So it's so much better than back there. But as I was walking, I got like chills down my spine. Like, you know, like you feel like somebody's watching you. And you get that like chills. Yeah, that just happened. I don't think there's anything on this island to worry about, but that was pretty crazy. And the flies are bad too, so you know, that's a good distraction. When I was walking out to the beach, I kept walking through all these spider webs. I was like, well, at least all the spiders will be gone when I come back. I think there's more on the return trip than there was on the way out there. Like they're all just filling the trail. But I can't imagine too much further, but I do have to use the light now. I can't see the ground very well anymore. I don't know if you can see the little lightning bugs out there. Just decorating the sky. It's pretty neat. Oh, and I'll show you this as we're walking up in the dark. Hey, telling us to turn. Well, glad I put it there. All right. Yeah, that's like Blair Witch stuff. All right. But yeah, here's a spider right here. They built these webs. It went crazy. All right, so our campsite somewhere up here. Oh, I think I see something reflecting up there. Oh yeah, so it's up there. Okay. What a trip. That was cool to see the Atlantic Ocean though. I mean, that was totally worth it. Made it back. Got a couple bug bites. Nothing too bad. All right. There's our camp. I'm gonna drink some water and climb on in there.
The sun is coming up. The start of the long day. It is morning, but I am going back to sleep for another hour because the temperature feels great and there's a lot of animals last night, so I was up a lot. So see you in an hour. Oh man. Good morning. So I do a lot of overnight camping trips, but I rarely do multiple day trips where I stay in the same location. So this actually feels really good. Like I don't have to pack everything up right now. I just take my time, enjoy the morning, have some breakfast. This is great.
Last night when I was setting up camp, I looked up and checked for widowmakers, made sure there was no dead branches up there that could fall on me. I want to show you this right here. This branch fell last night, and it's not huge, but it's big enough that if that landed on your face, it could kill you, you know. So just a nice reminder that whenever you're camping, setting up your camp, look up, make sure nothing's going to crush you. All right, so I just checked maps, and it looks like that trail that I saw for the Paradise Trail, that leads all the way down to another campsite, which is about a mile away. And then there's a trail that goes across like this swampy bridge, and then to the main road, and then back up to Plum Orchard. So I think we're gonna do that loop. It's about 3 miles. And then I can reload my water at the kayak and then come back here. So it's 9. This whole thing should take us till about lunch. And oh, and we get to do the tour of the mansion. All right, so I got my shoes so we can tour the mansion. We're gonna leave camp the way it is, and I got my fanny pack that's got waters, and I got enough water to get me there, and then they're both halfway full, and then I'll fill them both up when I'm there. So we'll have plenty of water for tonight and tomorrow morning. Yeah, the trail for Yankee Paradise says that there's water a quarter of a mile this way, but it's non-potable, so you'd have to filter it. But that's not what we're doing this trail for. We're doing this trail so we can check out the other campsite. It's about a mile down here. I'm loving this trail. You still have the sun rising up, so the light's coming in at a really nice angle, highlighting the trail. It's still cool out. The heat hasn't started. I'm a little sweaty, just from the humidity. But look at like all the Spanish moss down there getting lit up by the sun, and down here it's nice and shaded. A really great walk. Ah, notice non-potable water. This is a pretty nice source of water right here. Like, sure, it's not potable, but I bet that's pretty clean. Huh. Cool. When I hiked the Florida Trail, a lot of the water that we drink, I'd run it through a Sawyer filter, where you scoop water out of the swamps in the bag and then run it through the filter and drink it. And the finished product was pretty brown and gross looking, but I never got sick. But whenever you'd find a place that pumps water like that, that's clear, oh man, it'd run through the filter so fast and it would taste so good. Something about drinking, clear water over brown, nasty looking water. Good times. Look at this. The mighty oak has fallen. This tree is huge. I gotta go stand next to it for you to see how big this thing is. Yeah, check this out. This thing is huge. It's a girthy tree, but I guess its days are over. All right, so we have options here. We're going to keep going down the main road, but I want to go check out the Hickory Hill real quick. I don't think it's too far from here. Check out this old sign. They used a router to put it in there, but it says Yankee Paradise Trail with arrows pointing down where I just came. Then there's this trail, which isn't marked. I don't really see it on the map either, so I don't know what that was. So we are just going to continue down this way. Someone lost their shoe a long time ago. It's being reclaimed by the forest. That's crazy. So here it is, Hickory Hill campsite. It's much smaller, not really as flat. I think the Yankee Paradise is better. There's not much here at all. Enough for about 2 tents maybe. And this sign says Willow Pond is this way, but I came from that way. There was no pond. I'm just going to continue on down the trail, see what we find. On the map, there's a thing marked as the Boardwalk. I was expecting something a little more impressive than this, but I think this might be the Boardwalk. And it really doesn't even need to be here right now. I've been walking through a lot more swampy spots than what this is. So, but that was nice of them to build it. So this appears to be a raised walkway right here. You can see where they trenched out on the side and then piled it up right here, and then same on the other side. So a lot more effort than I initially gave them credit for. So this probably would have been all just swampy going through here. Oh, so there's where Yankee Paradise Trail comes out if you don't go to the other campsite. It kind of splits. So we haven't gotten to the boardwalk yet. The boardwalk's down here. Oh, okay, this is actually nice. This is the boardwalk. It's built in the same style as that little section back there. But you can see we got lots of water. The mosquitoes are bad, of course. Let's see if there's any wild animals running through here or not. It's very stable. It's not slick. A lot of spiders going across here too. Oh, back up for that one. That's a nice sturdy web. Right. I have walked through so many spider webs. I bet I have at least a few of these crawling on me right now. They're everywhere. Well, this was definitely worth coming over here just to experience this. It's pretty neat. And it's not too far, you know, it's just a couple miles. But yeah, to show you what it's keeping me out of, like this is pretty wet, nasty ground. And we've been walking for well over 100 yards. I don't know how long this thing is. It's pretty long. But it would have been kind of miserable trudging through this, you know, without this boardwalk. So, and it looks cool. That lone flower. But yeah, it just keeps going. It's so long. Well, that was fun. It kind of reminded me of being up in Isle Royale with my dad. And there's a lot of trails like that through the middle of the island where you're walking on boardwalks. But now, we're just trying to get through here. Alright, so unless we see some cool animals, the next thing on this route is going to be the mansion. And that's about 2 miles away still, so just going to walk this as quickly as I can and get over there. I have these game cameras to check who else coming down the trail. It reminds me of watching like when hikers are lost and like last seen on trail cam heading east on Cumberland Island. You know, I hope that's not me. All right, so I just came out of Willow Pond Trail and made it out to the main road. But what's weird, I never saw a pond. Like maybe that's what the boardwalk was going over. Like they consider that a pond. Looked a little more swampy than pondy, but maybe that's what it was. But now I just got the nice easy walk down the road. So you see the cars leaving, that was the Rangers. They were driving past and she goes, "What's your name?" I said, "Casey." She said, "I'm so glad I ran into you." She said, "The park's closing tonight." So she's like, "You gotta get out of here. The storm's coming." I said, "Oh, okay." So now I gotta get back to the main trail, get over to the campsite, tear it down. She said low tide was at 8:30 this morning, so I still have a couple hours, but not a lot of time, so a little pressed. So now the hustle is on. Well, I'm glad that I went and saw the beach last night. I was really wanting to check out the Plum Orchard mansion and then go eat lunch and then head out to the beach and spend some hours out there, but plans change, storms come in. I'm kind of surprised that they're closing it this early because that storm's not supposed to get up here until Thursday or Friday. So maybe it's moving a little faster. I don't have internet, so I can't check anything. Whew, that was a walk. All right, so we are really pressed for time. So with cinematic magic, make this go away. All right, let's get out of here. We got to get ourselves down to the kayak. You coming? Let's go. Here we are approaching one of the Carnegie mansions again. I think this one was built for one of the sons. I'll have to voice over some facts here.
Okay, sure. Here's a real quick voiceover from what I found on the internet. So Lucy Carnegie built this for her son George, who was marrying Margaret. So this was a wedding gift. So, you know, chump change for them. And they kept this as their winter home until 1921 when George died. So once George died, Margaret remarried and moved to India. And then the younger sister, Nancy, moved in after marrying the island's doctor. So there's a lot going on with this. So, oh, and Margaret auctioned off most of the furniture before she rolled out of there. So this mansion is 22,000 square foot and has tours 3 times a day, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 2 o'clock. And I think they're about 15 minutes. So pretty cool.
Well, cutting through the field of stickers, got my shoes on, but I see the horses down here by the dock. That little foal's cute. He's gonna use his mom as a guard. Alright, there's the kayak still tied to the tree. And tide's gone out a little bit, of course, which is good. We got about 3 hours till high tide, and it's a 2-hour paddle, so let's get this loaded up and get out of here. All right, so just like that, we have the kayak loaded, ready to launch. It's 11:30, so we can make it. Let's see how fun of a ride this is. So a dolphin just rolled out there. Let's see if he does it again. An alligator. Oh, it's a manatee. Oh, look at this. Well, we got God's cruel joke, a nice stiff headwind, making this an unpleasant ride right into the chop. But I think once we get across this area, it might kind of ease up a little bit. If not, I can get to the far shore and kind of use the tall grass as a wind block. But yeah, it's a challenge getting across for sure. There's no way to do this with an opposing tide. It'd be impossible. So if you do make this trip, you know, time your crossings appropriately or you won't make it. All right, I'm gonna get paddling. I want you to be able to see the speed here. So I'm just gonna get a couple strokes going. Check this out, 4-4, 4-5, 4-7, 4-9, 5-1, 5-3, 5-5, 5-7. Holy smokes. Yeah, it doesn't take much. This current is ripping. But yeah, there's 5, holding steady around 5-5. There's 5-8, 5-6. But anyway, over 5.5 miles per hour with very light paddling. This is crazy. I'm gonna get back in no time at all. Hopefully I don't miss it. I don't just blow right past it. I have to find the e-brake somewhere. And power slide into the ramp. You can see, oh my gosh, this is crazy. The current flow is insane. I can see the main body of water up there, and that water is just ripping across. Oh man, this is gonna be something else. But my goal is to try and shoot straight across without getting sucked too far down or too far upriver, I guess it would be. But where we need to go is to the Crooked River State Park, which is almost straight across. Still, you know, 2 miles away, 3 miles away, something like that. But yeah, this is gonna be interesting. I don't see any birds, so I don't have a RFBT or whatever it was, rate of floating bird travel. But that water is definitely moving. Yeah, See if you can see it a little bit better here. I'm about to enter into it. I'd imagine it's going to go really fast. It's almost like shoaling. I think once we get through this little part here, then we'll just kind of get with the flow. All right. All right, so we're crossing at 4.5, 5 miles an hour. So not super fast, but we're going. 5.5, 5.6. But you can see the current coming through. I'm trying to use the reeds as kind of a wind block, but you can see how they're swaying in the wind. It's blowing pretty good. But the trees that I want to get to is just off that point, then that cliff is on the inside, and I can actually see the pillars of the dock up there. So, you know, we're no more than a mile away. We're getting pretty close. Check out the texture of the water here. Just so many little bumps and ripples. I think it's the wind's coming from this direction, and so's the current. So I'm kind of surprised that it's turned up like it is, but you can see in the sunlight glistening off the tops. It's choppy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish paddling my way back to the dock. It's not too far, and I'll go ahead and close this video out. So if you've watched this far, you're probably someone that's been watching all my videos and know that I was supposed to be in the Dry Tortugas. Hurricane Helene or Helene, I don't know, it was just getting named when I was leaving, but looks like from what people are saying is going to turn into a big storm. So I don't know how my trips are going to be for the next week or so. This one even I figured Georgia is a safe place to hide from that storm, but it got cut short for that hurricane as well. So I need to get back, check weather and see what's going on, and then eat lunch. Super hungry. It's been a crazy day. I've hiked 5 miles. I paddled about 6 miles. Yeah, and all I've had was breakfast. So I need some big calories. So anyway, no sense rambling on. So thanks for watching. Next video will be out hopefully next week, unless I'm sailing, which I might be. If that storm passes through and tears up like Pensacola area, I think we are going to sail that just to check it out. So, but not 100%. We'll see. Toss up. So anyway, thanks for watching. See ya.